So I wanted to ask about Kyrie Irving too. At what point in the season do you say, all right, he's still not playing right now, maybe they should explore other options? Do they move him? Do they try to trade for depth? Patty Mills is playing great right now. Will it last type thing? At what point in the season, like either duration-wise or like a condition, maybe they start to slump a little bit? Do they say, all right, maybe we got to make a move for a couple players?
I think they're gonna make a move regardless. I think right now it's a league problem, and that's why it's probably not busy as of yesterday, because now players are eligible to be traded, because of the COVID stuff, and teams are slim right now. You couldn't even trade a guy if you wanted to, but I think Harden's more likely to go than Irving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. It really is, because James Harden, who was pushing himself out to Brooklyn, he didn't get the contract that he wanted in the offseason. Kyrie was offered $183 million. But because of the whole COVID thing, the Nets took it off the table. And to me, I think that was wrong for what they did. But again, that's their decision. That's Sean Marks' decision. My question before we get into the LA Lakers, because we're going to go over there to your coast and talk about the LA Lakers and what you think of them. Are your thoughts to what Kyrie Irving has done this offseason and really what he's been doing this regular season? Is it something that you should be, as a fan, be proud of him because he stuck to his Dukes, he's sticking to what he believes in, and he hasn't stepped in. He hasn't done what the NBA told him before the season that he didn't have to do. They said he didn't have to take the vaccine. All of a sudden, 2 weeks before the season, they say, well, every player's got to be vaccinated, or in New York or LA, or you cannot play the 40 home games in New York. So are you proud of Kyrie Irving, of what he stood for and what he said on Instagram, especially admitting a lot of things that he's done in the past? Or are you step away and say, Kyrie, you're putting your team in jeopardy of possibly winning a championship this year?
I'm not proud of him. I do think that he made the choice that he wanted to make. It's an interesting choice, but again, I'm not mad at him either, because he's not harming anybody. He's not out here recklessly not wearing a mask or doing the things that I've seen some nasty stuff said about this man, and again, he doesn't deserve that. But at the end of the day, if clearly I know you love basketball, but if this is what you're truly standing on, then you can walk away from the game. And now you really have zero distractions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in a certain situation, if he's playing in another team, if he's playing in another state with a looser mandate, we're not even talking about this. Mm-hmm. So I think we're giving too much power into it because of how New York City is ran. That's why we're giving so much of attention, because if he's in DC, if he's in Houston, if he is playing for the Mavericks or the Suns, we don't hear from it. Because players that aren't vaccinated can still come into the opposing cities and play. I just think we're giving it too much power.
I agree with you. And I feel bad for Kyrie Irving, because he spoke his heart out on his Instagram feed. And the fact that he has admitted some of the stupid things he said in the past, and he's made himself look bad. The fact that he's standing for himself, he's not hurting anybody. He's not telling anybody that vaccinated or unvaccinated people, they're doing the wrong thing. He's just sticking by what he believes in and he stands for. So I respect Kyrie Irving more than I ever respected him, because I grew up, a Duke fan, and Kyrie is a Duke player. And I rooted him. I've been rooting him on since he was in Cleveland. When he jumped ship and went to the Celtics, and then told the Celtics, you know what, I'm gonna come back. And then at the last minute, say, you know what, I'm jumping ship. I'm taking Kevin Durant. We're going to win a championship in Brooklyn. I'm not winning anything over here. I didn't respect anything he did there, but when he spoke up and he said what he felt, and he didn't hold back on what he felt, and he admitted to some of his wrongs, I give nothing but my utmost respect to Kyrie Irving as a person, as a man, and as a father. So I have always, since that happened, Speedy, what have I said about him?
You've always thought he was a genuine person.
I think he's a genuine person, a person that I have nothing but my utmost respect for, and I give him a lot of credit for standing up for what he believes. So.
So moving on to the Lakers' current point guard, and Russell Westbrook. Now he's all of a sudden getting swirled around in some trade rumors as well. Is it something that's you think is realistic? Could it be for something like a Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie and LeBron back together again, especially now with Anthony Davis?
He's still got to take his vaccination.
Well, yeah, still, yeah. But who knows? Maybe playing with LeBron's the motivation he needs. I don't know. Who knows? But still, we've seen Anthony Davis kind of hit a slump recently since LeBron has been kind of either load management or has been injured a lot of the time. So what do you see for this kind of thing? Do you think it's another typical classic GM LeBron type thing? Do you think it's just a smokescreen for maybe something else? Or do you think it's just a fluke and Russell Westbrook should be given more of a chance with the Lakers?
I don't think Russell Westbrook goes anywhere, to be honest. I don't see Anthony Davis going anywhere either, but at the end of the day, there will be other moved around pieces. I think they're going to kind of make the best moves of needs and kind of go for that. But in this particular, I mean, they haven't been healthy. They haven't had a consistent. I mean, their big three is kind of similar to the Nets' big three. They have yet to play like a ton of games together, and it's just been inconsistent. I will say that LeBron has been overworked. You know what I mean? Like when they went to go get Anthony Davis, they expected him to now be in this number one role, and he has yet to fill that seat. He's still dependent on LeBron because LeBron is still on the floor with him. But LeBron should be just cruising, 30 to 35 minutes a game, not having to score 30 points a game and still be effective. And they went and surrounded him with some good talent, but he's playing himself into a top five conversation. But then it's just kind of like, y'all in dogfights with the Kings and the Thunder. That's not a good look. Not saying that they're not going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but they're overworking themselves for a very old team.
As everybody knows, we are talking to athletic NBA analyst Travonne Edwards. We talk about LeBron James, and to me, he's a different player in the playoffs. He really is. Last year going into the playoffs, he wasn't 100%, and that's why the Lakers got eliminated as fast as they did. I really thought they were a championship competitive team last year with some of the pieces that they added. It just didn't work. Then this offseason, they added Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, and they added all these veteran players. They brought in all these different personalities. And I always said that it was going to take a while for this team to figure it out with all these ex-superstars playing with one another. It hasn't worked out so far. It's 25 games into the season. Are you surprised that the Lakers haven't figured it out? Maybe because LeBron James hasn't been 100% healthy, or maybe just this team is not what anybody thought it was going to be. Maybe they are old. Maybe Carmelo Anthony isn't the add-on player, that sixth man that the Lakers have needed over the last couple of years. Or maybe Anthony Davis just doesn't fit the credential of this team and the way it's set up. So what are your thoughts to this team as a whole in the first 25 games of the season?
Exactly what you said. It's just the first 25 games of the season. When you build a team, especially a new team, players have to get familiar with each other. Whether they played all-star games or not together, or Olympics, or even worked out with each other, it's chemistry wins. Chemistry and durability, right? Made the healthiest team win, and then also when the tendencies of your teammates. You know what I mean? Like, it takes time. When a guy gets traded, you mostly hear, "Oh man, we're looking good, but we haven't got a chance to practice together yet." That's important. And when those guys aren't available, they haven't practiced. They got all these names. You look on paper, they're on paper champs, right? Mm-hmm. But when you really have to look at it, they haven't really ran anything. They haven't had Trevor Ariza. They haven't had none. It's guys that was supposed to take them to the top. They have yet to play with a full healthy roster. And then now you add protocol and COVID and those things, and they're bringing in Isaiah Thomas, and they're gonna be similar to the Nets, except LeBron doesn't play a style like a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant now he knows that he's shorthanded, so he's playing through his team. He's building confidence through those young guys because they probably had no idea that they would even be sharing the floor with him this season. But they have to. They have no choice. They have 8 players, and how he's doing it is getting them the ball. It's like, look, you out here, you better shoot. You know what I mean? And then he's creating off of that and building that confidence. With LeBron, he's more of the ball handler. He has the ball majority of the time. A lot of those dudes watch instead of cutting to the basket, trying to, find ways to make shots and things of that nature. So their styles are completely different. And I mean, I'm not really on a big panic, and I don't think that the Lakers need to win 10 straight, because if they did win 10 straight, we're not having this conversation. We're saying the Lakers are back, or we're saying, you know what, be scared of the Lakers, because the Lakers still have star power on that roster, and then that's all people care about is winning fixes all.